Today I'm going to explain how I released 2 entities from my body this morning, and I realised this might sound quite alarming to most people. Oh, an entity, that sounds scary, but the truth is, when you can tap into the multidimensional layers of reality and the multidimensional layers of your own consciousness, this sort of thing becomes quite normal everyday practice. So what happened this morning? I basically went to check in with myself, my normal kind of meditation type routine, and I became aware of some feeling of some energy in my body. There was one energy sensation that I received in my chest from my heart chakra, and one that I felt in my knee. So how do I receive this information? I pretty much did a scan of my body, slowly sensing into what is happening or what feedback am I getting from the actual cells. And this is how to tap into the lower dimensions. So where we are thinking normally in the rational mind, the mind that we're thinking with and understanding our reality, that is actually the 3rd dimensional mind. And going down into the 2nd dimension, you have the subconscious mind. And the 1st dimension is the physical body mind, the body consciousness. So with this practice, I'm going down into the lower dimensions and I'm understanding what information is being stored there and what changes can I create in order to benefit myself, to heal myself. And so having sensed these 2 tingling sensations of energy in my body, what I did was connect to the resonance of the energy and created almost like a communication pathway. So it then, when you focus your attention in that space on the energy, it creates a telepathic link. And using the telepathic link, you can then have a direct conversation with the consciousness of the energy, because obviously everything is energy, everything is conscious, so you can communicate with everything. So then, having created a telepathic link to the energy mass that I could sense, I then began a conversation and a dialogue with it. And through this process, I can speak to the energy and say, how long have you been here? When did you connect? Why did you connect? What were the circumstances? What is your purpose? And I receive and hear answers back from the consciousness of the energy mass that had been attached to my body or my energy field, that I didn't previously know it was there. Healing very much is like peeling back the layers of an onion. So the more you heal, the more you reveal, and things are coming up into your awareness all the time. So as I tuned into this energy and started a dialogue with it, what you can then do is understand what was the role that it was playing. I think most people have been led to believe that entities are something to be really afraid of, and it's something that has power over you, and that puts you into the victim, disempowered state about the idea or the concept, which causes a lot of fear. But in reality, the entities or the energies only connect to you with your consent. There's a part of you that consents to the process. So really what you've got to understand is, okay, so what part of me was aligned with this energy? Or how was this energy in some way serving me? And for example, let me give you an example. The one that came up that I connected to, I think I had said about the knee, but this one was actually one from the stomach. There was one that I spoke to that it had connected to me from 3 lifetimes ago. So it wasn't even something that had arrived in this lifetime, but they incarnate with your soul through incarnations, through lifetimes. And it was an energy that had connected to me in a lifetime where I was experiencing hunger, I was experiencing like starvation. And the energy came and attached to the stomach area as a form of comfort or as a form of nourishment. So at that moment, there was a part of me that agreed to having that relationship or entering into that connection with it because of the starvation or the hunger that I was experiencing in that lifetime. But having now arrived in this lifetime and reached the point where I've become consciously aware of it, And I'm thinking, okay, I don't want this to be hanging around anymore, because the attachments that you have, the energy entities that you have, are actually sucking energy and life force from you. So they are draining you in ways that you don't know about when you're not aware that they're there. So I communicated with this, I thanked it for its service for connecting with me at that time, and explained to it that it was no longer required, and that as a sovereign being it would now be released from my body and the connection would be cut. And what I did was called in a guide, a higher dimensional being from the higher fields of reality, to come and connect with this energy and escort it out from my energy field, to lift it up through the dimensions, to return it back towards light, back towards source. And with its agreement, after I had communicated with it and spoke to it and thanked it, with its agreement, then it was happy to release, and it was guided and returned back into the ethers and restored my energy field. And so what change that made to me and my health and my energy system was that it's almost like having released like a parasite or a leech or a tick, something that had been on your body. So if I was to have some kind of leech or tick on my skin, I wouldn't want it to be there. I would say, oh my god, I need to remove this immediately because it's sucking my blood from me, right? It's sucking my energy. But the problem with these entity attachments that we have is that we're not aware of them. So it's like if you had a leech or a tick that you couldn't see, then the connection continues because you're not consciously aware of the fact that it had connected with you and it's been essentially eating off your energy. So this is just a really useful reflection to understand that it's not something that you should be afraid about. Everybody has these. Everybody has many attachments, and it's totally normal. Most of them aren't really giving any major side effects or symptoms until you start on the healing journey and you become more sensitive, and then over time become aware of different symptoms that then are highlighting the attachment to you, which means, great, you've reached a point in your journey where you're ready to release it. So that is amazing news. Some of the symptoms that can come up that you then realize, oh, I didn't know that this was being caused by an attachment, would be things like maybe having like brain fog, or having like low energy, feeling lethargic, having sleep issues, having time where you have like a short attention span. Like it can be a multitude of different symptoms that we all just are so accustomed to having that we don't realize, oh, this is something that I can heal in myself. There is a version of me where I look into this, find out the cause, heal it, release the attachment, and I'll be free of this symptom that I had been experiencing. It had become a part of my default, my status quo. So yeah, this is just, I think, an eye-opening experience of, like, first of all, learning that all this is possible, learning that you have the ability to tap into this level of information. And what you can do is empower yourself when you're able to connect to the lower dimensions of your identity, of your energy system. You can start to restore your own energy field and claim back the right and the sovereignty of your power and your energy. And in many ways it is recalling all of the agreements or contracts that we didn't know that we had previously entered into. And as you restore your energy and build your force, your life force energy back up, that's what propels you to be able to climb through the dimensions, anchor in higher dimensional information. And knowledge is power. The more you learn about yourself, the more you can heal, and the more you rise up through layers of frequency of reality, that you can then embody more of your divine essence, more of your Christ consciousness, which is the fractal of God expressing uniquely as you. So behind all the layers of the crud and the muck, that's what we all are, a spark of the divine, a flame of the divine. So the path that we're on is, how do we get back to that? Because it's like we've gone from being divine to launching out into a path of illusion and lowering ourselves in energy. So now we've almost got to the point where we're furthest from home, we're turning around and we're saying, okay, I need to retrace my steps to get back to where I started, which is the re-embodiment process of your divine energy and channeling your divine consciousness into this reality. So I share all of this as inspiration that all of this is totally available to you, and hopefully this sounds like something that would be exciting to learn or question or say, like, oh, this is interesting, like I've got maybe these or these symptoms, I wonder if that's connected to an entity or an attachment. And this is the whole journey that we're on, is understanding who we are, understanding what we are, and yeah, I hope this is helpful, and thank you for listening, thank you for connecting with me. Goodbye.